Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Rob from Boring Collectibles. Rob, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate the invite, Wayne.
Absolutely, man. I love what you guys are doing, creating a collectability and scarcity even more to what Bitcoin is doing, tying physical items to Bitcoin. And so, man, I want to jump into all of that, but you've got an interesting background, prior to dabbling around with Bitcoin. So, can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, I guess how the company came together is I came from the mining side. I was working with a lot of junior miners, so supply chain to me is very important. Mining real assets, what I consider to be real assets of every item that you'd need in life, seemed pretty important. So to me, real mining preceded Bitcoin mining because if they didn't mine and have computers, Bitcoin wouldn't be able to exist. But
Sure.
in that venture, essentially, we put a conference together and met some Bitcoiners and got my mind a little changed here with something that's finite. And I think the minute that Bitcoin was really fractionalized and we understood Satoshis and how they worked, that's when Mr. Tom Power from Sunshine Mint wanted to get involved. So, yeah, we built a physical Bitcoin, aka a cold wallet, out of pure silver. It's this particular one's 1 ounce silver. So yeah, I got my jollies off with getting a real hard asset in there. So now I can say, well, this isn't just some sort of electronic dream. Now this is tied to something. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head with collectability. What makes this valuable? It makes someone want to go buy it. That's what we're all trying to figure out. And I think we have the assets, like you said. You pointed out to me a while back. I mean, your big three are your hard assets. You got the silver, which could be gold at some point, could be anything really at some point, but it'll be an asset. And then you've got the crypto, very secure. Andre Bossier, our chief designer, is genius, and yeah, he put this together with his son and 21 layer vinyl hologram. I mean, this thing stood the test of time. Him and Tom Power got after this thing. So yeah, I guess all of our backgrounds kind of came together, but mine was really truly into mining, and now I get to kind of see the other side. So sorry for the long drawn out answer there,
No,
Wayne, but that's where I came from.
no, man, it's a great answer, and we kind of look at that, okay, because the silver has a value, right? It's a hard asset, and look, I'm holding one right here. I know that's not going to do any justice to how this thing looks in person, because it's amazing. The hologram he's talking about, you can't, the camera doesn't do it justice, but um, the silver has a value. The Bitcoin has a value. We know they're both going to appreciate over time, but then there's also the scarcity piece from a collector standpoint that there's only so many of these, and this is your guys' first but not last drop of a coin. And I say first, you guys have done other coins that were prior to the official Boring Collectible CryptoLink. And explain to us what CryptoLink is in relation to Boring Collectibles, the company, right?
Yeah, so we ride a slippery slope here. CryptoLink is very explanatory. We're linking crypto to something. It's a hard asset in our view. So Tom Power had that idea. We put that together. Crypto in this world of buying and selling is not friendly to a lot of platforms. So immediately, we've got flags thrown up at us. Your crypto, we've been denied everything. We can't operate with several merchant vendors. But CryptoLink is truly the technology. It's really us marrying this to it. It's our secret sauce. It's the stuff that I could never tell you about. But it's proven, and a lot of the OGs, they gave us a lot of flack for this coin. And I tell you, to Andre's credit, he hung out on BitcoinTalk.org and he defended it all through and through. And now all of our enemies became our allies. So yeah, we're on the right path here with CryptoLink, but it gets sold under the name of Boring Collectibles simply to open up the market. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't for crypto people. This isn't just for that. This is, yes, it's a functional cold wallet, so it has a use case, but the collectability is where it's at. Like this particular coin, as you said, our first drop here, the legacy coin. Yeah, there's 2,498 total forever. That'll be it. Once those are gone, that's that. They'll never be done again. The next drops we come, they'll probably be a little smaller, 500, 700. Depends on who we're working with. We work with some influencers as well and see how big their bases are. But the idea here is that we want to educate people. 1 out of 10 have an actual cold wallet. So, people wear $750,000 Rolexes all the time. You can absolutely use this as a cold wallet, or you can keep it, load it, and put it in the safe for the kids and never touch it again. And know that not only is that Bitcoin, that silver worth money, it's got some seriously intrinsic value as far as collectability and rarity. And we all know the game there that, your investment could be worth 15x on certain items. So yeah, we want to protect a secondary market for our people to buy them, but at the same time, everyone who's bought them is already in the plus column on this one with Bitcoin's run. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this thing is amazing. And you think about rare coins, and this thing, you guys, as you mentioned, are going to continue to go on. So, one ode to Satoshi. It's a Satoshi coin, right? Satoshi drop. And it's your. I've told people it's your Genesis drop, right? It's your first drop, just like the Genesis block of Bitcoin. But yeah, it's that. It's not. And even if someone in crypto buys this, and you're not telling them, hey, move all your Bitcoin to this cold wallet coin, right? It's a mechanism to store some Bitcoin, some additional value on the coin as well. And one thing actually I learned from Andre that, he kind of taught me about, collectability. When you think about it, people will buy something and then when it's worth a lot, they'll want to sell it, right? But then you also have that, what if I'd have held on to it? And so what Andre mentioned is you get two, right? You have one that when this thing gets up in value, I can sell it, but I still am holding one for the long term because it's not just about money. It's about scarcity. It's about value. And when CryptoLink and Boring Collectibles is a household name in not the Bitcoin industry, in the collectors industry in general, collector ecosystem, people collect a lot of stuff. I mentioned to you, collecticons are very popular now. People go, they're selling coins, they're selling baseball cards, comic books, it's just Pokemon cards, right? So it's people are collectors of items. And what gives those items value is the scarcity. And the longer they get, they stick around, the more they're worth because they become more and more scarce, right? Less people have them. Some people may have sold them. Some people, in this case, may have peeled them. And you could still have some originals that are unopened, untouched, that could be worth a lot.
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I tell all my friendlies, look, don't touch. Yes, this is Satoshi. This is based on the statue in Budapest, and they're doing more. So this is a thing. So yeah, Andre got a hold of that, and we were looking to how to really define the company. What are we trying to do here? So yeah, it's a special story about Satoshi. So that coin was so hard. Andre will tell you, if you touch it, you'll scratch it. So yeah, I tell all my friendlies, build a museum. Trust us. Buy 2, buy 3, buy 4. And yeah, hold on. And then, look for the secondary market. By the time you get to the secondary market and are ready to sell it, like you said, you're probably not going to want to sell it anymore unless you're desperate and you're just going to be like, wow, it's like that card that keeps going up. So, but again, if you want to undress a baseball card, I have them. I get it, but boy, it's cardboard, it's paint.
Yeah.
You want to undress this one? Boy, I tell you, you can take 2 hard assets right off this if you're in a pinch. You don't have to go somewhere. So, yeah, I'm a believer in the company. Everybody is here. We're just trying to find a kind of an identity on really who our market is, and it's we're finding it's really, we don't think it's really a crypto buyer. It's probably more of an up, like a Rolex buyer or something. So maybe you can help us with that. But this is definitely one of the finer things. It's something that you just don't find in every household. It's a specialty item. And this was passed around the coin makers meeting at Bitcoin 25. And this was called the most precise and the best physical Bitcoin ever made. And I'm trying to get them on paper for saying that, because I know who said it and talked about it. So yeah, we're on to something here. We've got 2 more. We're ready to drop. Look for those pretty quick here. But yeah, we're excited about it. And buy multiples and just try to not touch them, pull them out, look at them and all that. But yeah, they're really a piece of history.
Yeah. And I've come to the point where I realize you don't sell your Bitcoin, you hold it for the long term. If I need money, I can borrow against it. But with this is also an asset that I want to just hold, for the test of time. I'm not looking for a quick flip, but I'll also tell you, Rob, if it's worth a lot, one day I may sell one of the two and keep the other one. Um, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did want to touch on that. Your experience at Bitcoin 25, the topic you mentioned. I think it's a hard market because there were physical Bitcoins before, right? And some of those early guys, which you guys know, they really fought an uphill battle, and many of them legal battles because of what they were creating, where it's a physical coin that also doubles as a cold storage wallet. And I think there's been a gap because those were very much talked about 2016, 2017 when I first got into Bitcoin in 2016. I heard about them, but you don't hear many people talk about them today because most of those people have gone away. And really, the only people that know about them are the people that understand Bitcoin, but they're also very heavily collectors, right? They're a collector and they want to collect that, and that's kind of the market. But I think with the world being more open to Bitcoin, it could be any collector just understanding the scarcity and the value of this. It's going to go up in value no matter what, right? That's not financial advice. You guys don't have to say that. I can say that just by the Bitcoin that's on it and the silver that's in it, because those two alone make it valuable. But when you craft it into something nice, I think that's going to be what drives it. So yeah, your target market may not just be your hardcore Bitcoiners. And let's talk about that real quick, right? Because these are some of the questions and concerns people have when they say, "Oh, it's a physical Bitcoin wallet," right? A physical Bitcoin. And you heard a lot of that. You guys were next to us at the booth at Bitcoin 25. What were some of the concerns that people had, like the Bitcoiners that you were talking to that didn't understand physical Bitcoin? What kind of concerns were brought up?
Yeah, I guess we can back up a step. You touched on something that's pretty important
Yeah,
because
sure.
you've got some of the older coins there where they got in trouble
Yeah,
for money transmitter was the language. So we spent a pretty penny on legal advice. Because if you go to like Ballet, a plug for Bobby there,
yeah,
he only sells physical crypto in 25 states because he's selling physical crypto. This is nothing more than me taking a Ricky Henderson rookie card that's signed, putting it in a case, throwing a hologram on there, throwing some Bitcoin on there to make it more expensive. There's no exchange for it. There's no so we're not exchanging. This is nothing more than a memento, a little trinket on top of this coin.
right,
So
right.
it's a loaded coin. So yeah, so that was the first step. So yeah, people were asking about that, and we said we have legal paperwork that supports us, and we have yet to have any problems. We're putting minute amounts of Bitcoin on here. It's not like we're sitting here putting 3, 4, 5 Bitcoins on things.
Right.
Eventually, Andre wants to get to that with the auctions. We had several coins signed. We can get to that in a minute too. But yeah, getting
Yeah,
to
sure.
Bitcoin. Yeah. How are you doing this? Wow. What is it? It was really interesting that no one really quite got it at first. It had to be explained to them, except some of the OGs really obviously they didn't know, they didn't need any introduction to the
Right,
coin.
right.
But yeah, it had to be explained like, wow, but I don't think, to your point earlier, that's not where we should be selling our coins. Our coins should be sold at card shows and collectible where people really truly understand rarity.
Yeah,
Anything that's got rarity. And I know Tom Power is taking Sunshine Mint to the numismatic conference here, coming up here. I believe it's close to your back. It might be in Houston or somewhere down there coming up in like late August. So
right.
yeah, we're going to find out there if
Yeah.
they see this, because if you start doing 500 coin sets, these will be gone tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
When they get that finite. So yeah, I don't know. It was really interesting. I felt like I had to explain this more to people than I thought I would, being at a Bitcoin conference. Like it was
Yeah.
like you never saw a physical Bitcoin before. So I think it truly shows that we are innovative. There's definitely the old pioneers, all the Leolanas, the Cassatius coins and bars and all that stuff there. Thank you. Pay tribute to him. Andre's been in the game a while. He's done a lot of coins in his day. This guy's done coins no one knows about. He's under NDAs that he can't talk about.
Right.
So yeah. But it seemed like the crowd might be, I don't know, newer. Are they
Well,
not?
well, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like
Yeah.
2016, 2017, maybe some of 2018. A lot of people that got in around that time had heard of physical Bitcoins, but that was also around the time they were under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of legal issues, right? And so I think anybody that got into Bitcoin like 2019, 2020 or later, they're not familiar with it, right? It's something that they're not heard of, that they've not heard of. So that I think is a big disconnect where you're back to an education process. The good thing is, though, you can point to some of these early pioneers that led to this, just like the early pioneers of the cypherpunks eventually led to Bitcoin being created, right? That didn't just happen overnight. It happened over many battles. Think about the legal battle. So Adam Back, who's one of the early innovators in Bitcoin, still around today. Prior to that, during the Clinton era, there was something called the crypto wars. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Whereas basically they were trying to make encryption illegal. And so he printed out encryption on a shirt and walked across a border just to show that it was, to prove that it was basically no different than any other expression of free speech. And so those little steps led to the creation of Bitcoin. These guys that fought the legal battles early on, I mean, it's safe to say there's a completely different attitude towards Bitcoin now than there was 8-9 years ago. 8-9 years ago, governments were against it. And not even so much ago. Let's just talk about the current president, Trump, right? He was president from 2016 to 2020, the first administration, right? Just popped up on my memories today. It was like 2019. He made a tweet bashing Bitcoin and crypto. And I commented on it, right? And I had posted that as a screen, back then. And then it popped up on my memories today. And how has that stance changed from there when he was saying it's only for illicit behavior, it's not good, it's bad, to where now we're in crypto week. We're recording this. Now this podcast isn't being released during this week, but we're recording this podcast during crypto week, where all this different crypto legislation is being talked about in Washington D.C. this week.
Yeah, well, I think and piggybacking on what you just said there, I think that's really the MO of the company, was to make this mainstream. And I've got a lot of friendlies that have purchased this, and I asked them, hey, why'd you do it? And they said, well, because of you. But when they got the coin, they're like, oh my God. But then they're like, this is the only exposure we have to Bitcoin, and we want it to be physical because, they come from the metal side. They want something tangible in their hand. I think that's what we offer here. So, this is definitely not something you put all your crypto in and then hold it in your pocket and hang out and show people, and diversify like you always should. But yeah, this sure beats the thumb drive. Looks a hell of a lot more pretty. And it really is. So yeah, we'll get to more. And like I said, we'll have Andre's painting now. We're going to have artwork. We're going to get into foil. Tom's innovative. We've even heard about belt buckles potentially being a thing. So yeah, I don't know. We're Boring Collectibles. You're going to see all kinds of things there. You might see 20, 30 items at one time. We started out, like you said, with our Genesis coin here and the drop and away we go. So, I appreciate all your help and all that. But yeah, I think people just look at you funny. I don't even know how to buy Bitcoin. I'm shocked. People don't even know how to buy it.
Well, this is also a gifting opportunity, right? If I want to gift somebody, they've got Bitcoin. And just to kind of comparison, I just grabbed this off my side of my desk. This is a cold storage device. It's not very sexy. It serves its purpose, and I love this one too. But these are cool. These are collector's items, and this is holding Bitcoin. Right? So that's the important part. Outside of the I guess you could say, really ignorance of people around physical Bitcoin at the conference. The other question is the age-old adage: not your keys, not your crypto, right? And so people, and my first question for Andre when he first showed this to me the first time when we met at a Bitcoin meetup in New Orleans was, hey man, how are the private keys secure? Because you're generating the private key. So what keeps that secure versus knowing that someone else that created this could have a private key and sweep it one day? But you guys have can you explain that process? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, I know I can't do it justice because he was in the battlefield and we really weren't allowed. It was, level 5 security, Sunshine Mint. So to start the process, everything's off you. There's no phones allowed, no nothing. So you're in a secure room with him, Andre Jr., and They basically we had some proprietary software, our secret sauce built that helped us format this completely offline. Nothing ever was online. Every device used in the process after we're done was completely destroyed. Tom already has a company. They come out, military company, literally, they come out, destroy everything, photograph the process. I mean, the whole thing. And you literally walk out of there going, nothing could possibly have been seen. But as Andre and everyone else in the sector always says, is you always have to trust somebody. So I just say, Tom Power, the CEO, the big boss of Sunshine Mint, who's, sorry, Tom, but he's got a net worth behind him. It's not about to jump into any type of sketchy relationship with anything. So absolutely. Yeah, security was number one. And then after that, not only the security side, they tested it. These guys took that coin and they chucked it in an enclave machine, wherever the heck that is, that, you put the needles in and they put that thing to 250 degrees, I think, or something at like 90 minutes at, I don't know how many 30, maybe 30%. I don't know what it was, but they fried about every other coin, that they did it with. And ours, you could read that the keys were there. Now, I don't know where you're going to ever come into that situation, but we don't really talk about it. But you asked, and it's kind of one of those things that I'm pretty proud about. So again, if Andre was here, he's probably going to look at me and I'm butchering everything he says. But no, it was he was very proud of the work, and security was the number one, because I was told from day one in this operation, Rob, we cannot be 999 out of 10,000. We have to be perfect. Yeah. We cannot have anybody ever suspecting. So again, we took this scrutiny, we took this heat in BitcoinTalk.org, and all of the OGs who were critical, all of a sudden Andre proved it up. We showed it, and they're all now, a lot of them own the coins and are like, wow, and have done reviews. So
yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Andre goes into detail, all the technology, right? And you mentioned about how much you had to explain it at the Bitcoin conference. And funny enough, it's funny to note that Andre lost his voice during that conference because he talked so much, right? But simply, for you're listening and you don't understand the tech, you don't have to. Basically, computers that were never online generated the private key, in essence, which is important. Because if it's connected online, there could be some hack or breach that could happen. And then the devices that generated those private keys, after the private key was stamped into the decals here, those were completely destroyed. All those devices were destroyed. So you can't go back, reference any kind of memory or history, and destroy completely. And so it's important to note what he's talking about is on the back here of the coin, you can see a hologram that has a security seal and a QR code. Now, this QR code is the public key. So anybody can send Bitcoin to this address. Feel free to if you're watching this podcast. I won't complain, right? But then whenever you want to remove the Bitcoin from here, if you ever do, right, if you ever want to, you have to peel that seal off. And the point is it has to be a good enough security seal to where, one, you can tell it's been peeled. So you don't buy a coin from somebody that's already been peeled and they've already swiped the private key. And then two, you still have to be able to read the QR code underneath this is the private key. And the concern, and some of the early coins had this issue where people would peel it and they have trouble scanning or identifying what that private key is because of degradation over time. And so you guys have a method that you put to the test and it withstood every test. And I've seen Andre peel one before, looked at underneath, and that, I feel it's going to stand the test of time. 20 years from now, I'm still going to be able, if I peel it in 20 years, to take this Bitcoin that's off of here that right now is worth about $70 worth of Bitcoin on here. And if I take this off 20 years from now, that $70 is worth 700,000. I'll be able to still read that private key if I decide to do that. But by then, I'll probably just sell the coin for $1 million. Right?
I'll say you'll have it at Stacks and Bowers. And
the distinction you mentioned, like, you're not telling people replace your cold storage device like I showed earlier to the coin. This is additional item, additional product. I've got them. You plugged Ballet earlier, right? I like your coins better, but Ballet is cool. I've got their gold card right here that has some Bitcoin on it.
Yeah.
And I think I put like $20 on this back in the day, and I checked it the other day, and it's 100 now. So that's the benefit of holding Bitcoin long term. And I've got collectibles. Your guys, these things have serial numbers, right? So you can see what number it is, and there's different numbers for different rarities within that 2,500 or 2,499 you mentioned, right? There are different rarities within those that you get when you buy them. So it's a cool concept. I love it. I love the idea of future concepts of things coming out. Andre showed me, he even shared me a piece of art that I've actually got hanging on my wall that actually has the same type of technology where I can add Bitcoin to that. It's an amazing Satoshi picture. And I know when he got it shipped in, there was a little defect from the supplier that shipped it in. But hey, it's amazing. And he's even sent me some mock-ups. I'll even talk about that just this week. Andre sent me a couple of images of some things he's working on. And it's cool stuff. I mean, Bitcoin on a ledger is great for the long term. It preserves my value. It's wealth preservation tool as Bitcoin in general. But I like cool stuff, and this is very cool. It's something that you would want to have, and it's going to be bragging rights in a few years, and you'll be like, "Hey, I got one of those." When everybody's talking about, "Man, I wish I could get my hands on one," you're like, "Hey, I got one."
Yeah, and I think to your point there, boring collectibles, not boring usables. So
right.
Yeah, we're not trying to build a use case for this. If you buy an unloaded one, load it to your heart's content. Put it in the safe for the kiddos. Buy a loaded one, like you said, it already comes with $70 right now almost on it. So, but either way, yeah, it's a collector's item. I just do not recommend ever just taking it out to look at it, but they are beautiful. So now again, appreciate you being a fan as well. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a believer, and I was a skeptic. I knew about physical Bitcoin before Andre and I met at that Bitcoin. It's funny, we met at the Bitcoin meetup, and I'll never forget, it was the week of the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. And so the normal spot where we held our meetups was rented out for a Super Bowl, for an NFL party. So we met across the street. Andre came in, and that's where I kind of asked him those questions, like those hard questions where, okay, you're generating the private key for me. How is that secure? And going through the process. And then I'm the type of person, I tell everybody, do your own research. I practice what I preach. And so I looked up who was this Sunshine Mint company, and who is this Tom Powers and everything else. And you're right. I mean, outside of it, you got to have trust. I mean, somebody manufactured this hardware device that I showed you that I've got to have, some trust in the key generation. And this as well. But I'm not storing 1, 2, 3 full Bitcoin on a coin. But it's kind of like, it's a dual value, almost like not dual value, like a triple value. I've got the silver, I've got the Bitcoin, and you put those together in a nicely crafted rare coin. Let's call it rare. How many people in just in the United States? 315 million. So just in the U.S. alone, there only 2,500 people can have them, and less than 2,500 people, right? Because I've got two. You guys, some people have multiples. A lot of people buy multiples when they buy them. I saw that at the conference. So, you guys did pretty good. How did you do? Not necessarily numbers, but how did you do sales wise at the Bitcoin conference?
I'd say we weren't. That wasn't really our goal per se. We definitely sold a lot of coins. We were there to engage people, talk to influencers. I think one of our next projects, waiting for Andre to do a mock up, and then we're going to have a crypto influencer go after his group with one of these with their own logo on it. So I think that's part of the business model. So Andre is a very talented artist, obviously. So he'll always have, we've got 5, 6 Satoshi coins coming up. We're going to launch an XRP Army coin. But yeah, on top of that, you might see a pro athlete on one of these things. So we were there to connect with people. Met a cool guy, TradeFly Dan. These guys trading crypto, man. It's a little outside of my pay grade, but some of these guys are really dang good. We were there to build, and boy, I tell you, Andre had the idea to get a couple of these things signed. He got the Winklevoss twins to sign this. That's never happened before. We're not sure what to do with it. I got Peter Schiff, the #1 hater of Bitcoin, to sign this. They got a little picture with him. I've interviewed him before, and I just was kind of funny that he was even there. But yeah, we got a few
Yeah.
people that are important on that coin. We didn't get you though, Wayne. We'll get that maybe moving forward. But yeah, no, it was overall the experience was great. We got to see the circus, see all the other things that the wild ideas that people have in this space.
Yeah.
That I'm not used to for being in mining. And mining, you're it's
Yeah.
hard dirt. You're going that there's one way, and you can there's geochems, there's all that. But these guys like very innovative. So
Yeah.
a lot of enthusiasm.
Amazing.
I will say that people were excited, and man, I mean, Bitcoin's flying. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're going to see tokenization happen globally where assets are being tokenized. You and I were talking about a gold mine
yeah,
being tokenized. I'm talking to another guy I met in New York a few weeks ago about a diamond mine that he's looking to tokenize as well. But just tokens in general, even like we launched an apparel brand right next to you guys, right? We had the booth with Bitcoin Siaga, and yeah, we sell luxury quality apparel, but at the same time, everybody gets a token, so we're onboarding people to wallet. And as the brand grows, that token, not financial advice, could grow as well because a percent of every sale goes to that. So there's so many different ways to leverage this technology that I have to highlight it on the show when I find people doing stuff that I love. And obviously, you could tell from my responses here, I'm a fan. Like you've already convinced me. I love what you guys do. That's one method of introducing people to Bitcoin. Right, gifting is great. So instead of just giving somebody some, hey, download a wallet, I'm gonna send you some Bitcoin for a graduation present, for a wedding present, for a birthday. Hey, here's this coin. It has Bitcoin on it, and the coin itself is gonna continue to increase in value because it's very rare. And so that's kind of where you want to shift people's thinking to this is more than just, oh, I'm buying a cool coin. Because like on my desk, I've got a handful of coins, right, that people have made, and most of them are just novelty, right? This is a Bitcoin coin. There's nothing on it. There's no wallet tied to this. You can get one of these, depending on what it's made of, for about 30 to 60 bucks. But that's a different concept. That's just, hey, that's cool to have. This is more of a collector's piece. This is my, I call it my, so the golden asset for me when I was a kid, for me, it was baseball cards. So for me, it was that Mickey Mantle rookie card. Like I would have killed to have that, years later. And so now I've got my quote unquote Mickey Mantle rookie card right here from Boring Collectible.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and so that was me because I understand the more rare something is, the more it's worth. The more sought after it is, the more it's worth. Especially when there's a fixed supply. People that don't understand why Bitcoin keeps going up in value. We had a new all-time high this week of 123,000. I'm hoping by the time this comes out, maybe it's higher, right? But at the end of the day, people don't understand how can I have value. Only 21 million Bitcoin. Adoption rate's going up, so people are seeking it more. These ETFs are having to buy it because people are buying the ETFs, and they've got to have the Bitcoin to back it. And so that demand is rising drastically when there's a fixed supply. The demand here, it's an education piece. When the world learns about collectibles and tying Bitcoin or other crypto to collectibles, I think that's going to explode. I think you guys have a bigger business than you imagine. You're thinking of coins and other items, and I think it's going to create a whole sector of goods that's going to merge that collector with the maybe crypto Bitcoin guy or physical assets like you came from physical mining. Those guys that collect art, because that's a big market, right? Just people that collect silver and gold coins is a big market in general. And so I think this is going to drive it more up. So, Rob, so you hinted at some things that are coming. Obviously, those are going to be scaled out. You want to focus on selling out of the Satoshi coin right now. So any other facts you want to share about the company before we wrap up?
Yeah, no, I guess just that, yeah, we're, like you said, we've got a lot of things in the pipeline. Yeah, the Satoshi coin probably won't be around for a whole lot longer, and then that's that. And we'll just keep moving on and innovating. Andre, you've met him. He's just his mind. So when he really gets going down a road, but yeah, this was his thing. He really, he's the engine behind this as far as, the real true creativity and all that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Tom Power, can't say enough about him. He's those two guys in a room can be dangerous because Tom's just got so many years in this. So yeah, we're excited to be here, and yeah, we're you'll probably see some changes. We're still young. Our social media game isn't there. We've got a few things like that we need to address. But right now, we concentrated on building the best coin we could and getting it shipped to you safely and timely. So you got to sign for these suckers when you get them.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, no, we're excited as heck. And yeah, give me probably 30 days and you're going to see a couple new coins coming out and probably some relationships built. So again, appreciate all your help too, Wayne.
Awesome. I'll give you one idea. Before we wrap up, you're talking about belt buckles and everything, man, watches. So this is kind of a shout out to another group that was at the Bitcoin conference.
Carlos.
Yeah. So Coin Vigilante makes these awesome Bitcoin watches, but I can imagine a day where on the back of my watch, I will have that same hologram seal where I can load some Bitcoin on there too. And that as well. So good idea. I'd love to see, I'm kind of plugging them. I'd love to see a collab with you guys. And I think you've had some conversations. So,
brother, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. Love Carlos and his lovely wife. They're fantastic. We want to these guys do a physical, sports cards and stuff. So we want to do a collab on there. I have a friend who knows Wayne Gretzky. I'd like to approach him and say, hey, wouldn't that be cool to do a silver card? Yeah. The Great One card with a hologram on the back.
Here's a good one. How about all the athletes? I know there was quite a few football players that the last several years have started taking pay in Bitcoin, right? Odell Beckham just made a tweet yesterday because Odell Beckham Jr. got paid in Bitcoin, and they're doing phenomenal because they got paid when it was worth 20 to 30K, and now it's 4x that by getting paid in Bitcoin. So I can imagine some of those advocates the sports athletes that are famous that are Bitcoin advocates now, like collabing with them for a card or a coin or something, or even a thing where I buy a watch and I get a coin to go along with it, right? So I've got a dual asset, or same thing with a belt buckle, right? I mean, belt buckles. People like fashion. They like I'd love for people when they come into my office now, they're going to see that Satoshi hanging on the wall, and I know everybody's going to ask about it. So you've got that aspect. So as we wrap up, Rob, you mentioned social media. Definitely you guys are trying to grow your social media. So tell everybody what to look up on social media, and also share your website too. I'm going to have it in the comments below, but also share it for those listening.
Yeah, so we're boringcollectibles.com. I think they both forward over. And I believe our Facebook presence, I'd have to look up Boring Collectibles again with the I, and then same on X.
Well, yeah, all of that is linked to so if they go to your website and scroll down, there's a link to your social media pages right now, right? Yeah. So definitely check that out. Go to boringcollectibles.com, follow them on social media, find out what's happened. If you don't, you're going to regret it. If you regret hearing about Bitcoin years ago, like we all do, like I bought my first Bitcoin in 2016, but I heard about it in 2013, right? So if you have that regret where you heard about something and didn't look into it further, this is my own personal opinion, but you're going to have that same feeling about what you guys are doing. So, Rob, any final words before we part?
Just thanks to Blockchain Wayne, and I appreciate all your support and anything you can do to help. And yeah, thanks for being a fan of the coin.
Absolutely. So thanks again, Rob, for joining us. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.